Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. This video is about the issue of yelling. First of all, I have 22 or 23 witnesses on record to the psychological operation against me. 22 or 23 different people who not only testified that there's a psychological operation against me and they've witnessed various aspects of it, but I had the presence of mind to put that testimony on record. People are crazy, simply can't make that argument. It just doesn't happen. I've never heard anything like that before. Ever. I'm sure you haven't either. So now let's look at what would cause someone to yell on this very evil planet. And watch, I will keep from yelling in this video, but keep in mind, it's painful for me to keep from yelling because they fume me. And sometimes they fume me from the outside, and I roll up the windows, and I'm fumed heavily from the inside. Happened in 4 different rental cars, 2 cars that I own, happened in my father's car, happens in the house, what have you. In my room, you name it. Okay. So I'm inclined to yell. But let's look at Isaiah 46, verses 1 and 2. Baal bows down, Nebo stoops low. Their idols are born beasts by burden. Are born by beasts of burden. Their images that are carried about are burdensome, a burden for the weary. They stoop and bow down together, unable to rescue the burden. They themselves go off into captivity. Now, just like the white colonialists did during colonialism in America. The colonist stigmatized the victim as the problem. He used wordplay, right? He said they're angry, red savages, and so on and so forth. We see in the word Baal, okay, there's wordplay. Part of the wordplay is the word label, right? Baal has the word Baal in it. Another is BL, where they changed the way I look to try to make it so I look like them, like Bill Gates or something, but you can still tell the difference. So L is a deity that resembles Bill Gates or something. You have the word Nebo, where Nebo has Obi spelled backwards with an E instead of an I, but same sound, and the letter N. And you have Ebo spelled with an E instead of an I, but it still has the same sound. And Nebo is a deity of knowledge and understanding and science and so on and so forth. So the very types of people who took over the world, and you know them by their works, that they're unfair, they're evil, Nazis are part of their greater grouping, communists, people who slaughtered the Native Americans, the slave trade, on and on and on. The countless problems they present, all this wealth they've hoarded, and their refusal to end homelessness worldwide, their refusal to feed the poor. Any developed nation that isn't white or Jewish, no offense to anybody, I'm not racist, these are the facts, I'm sure we can all agree these are the facts. They emerged in the spirit and the political systems of whites and Jews, like Freemasonry and the corporations and the Roman Senate. And they have Western systems like communists and communist parties. That's part of the works, part of the trees of these white and Jewish and LGBT colonists. Again, no offense to anybody, other than the offense that God intended. So, they are born by beasts of burden. Burden. They're unable to rescue the burden. They themselves go off into captivity. They're a burden. They're burdensome. They themselves, the spirits, they go off to hell, and they go off to a pit for spirits that are evil. Okay? And the Bible defines the effects of following these people's paths as widowhood, confusion, madness, death, mourning, famine. It causes weeping and gnashing of teeth, chaos, desolation. It causes people to be weaklings, plundered, mad with terror, and dried up. And when the Bible is talking about punishment, it is first and foremost spiritual, right? Matthew 6, store riches in heaven, in the spiritual realm, and not on earth. Okay? So they're widows in the sense that they're not the children of God. Their city is not married to God. Right? Galatians 4, Jerusalem in the sky is married to God, not Jerusalem in this world. They're confused in regards to what to do. Okay, someone who's too confused to do what's right might sabotage everyone else on the planet to make it so they look more confused than the person who's confusing them. But those people who are confused, among them might be someone who's not confused to the point where they're doing what's right still. If you have any questions, put in the comments. Therefore, where it matters most, that person who looks more confused than the person who is in a nice suit or whatever is not confused where it matters most, to the point where they're doing what's right. You know them by their works, not by their looks. Stop judging by mere appearances, but instead judge correctly. That's what is meant when it says confusion. Lucifer likes to pretend he knows what he's doing, likes to pretend he's a light or an angel of light or whatever. They're mad because when it comes to how should you live your life, there's some arrogant rich person or some person in the church or whatever. They're spiritually dead. They're mourning whether they want to admit it to themselves or not. Okay, some people mourn without crying. Some people cry. Some people yell. Some people don't. Some people whisper. Some people slip into denial, mourning their lack of masculinity, mourning their lack of a soul, mourning their lack of a God. Things they gave up. Things that are lost to them. Mourning loss. They don't have righteousness or justice. They're not hungering and thirsting for righteousness and justice in a way that is acceptable to God, a way that is universally fair. So they're suffering hunger and thirst, of famine. They're spiritually weeping, and they're suffering a spiritual gnashing of teeth. It's figurative. They're in a state of chaos and desolation. A desolate land, a desert. Spiritually, they're weaklings. Spiritually, they're plundered. They went mad with terror, too afraid to man up. And some people look, quote unquote, sane with a secular scale when they're too afraid to man up. And some people look mad with a universal look, if you will. Spiritually, they're dried up. They don't have the waters of God. So if somebody was to yell their head off and say, hey, I don't want to be like you, what don't you people get? Why, they're being fumed and poisoned and provoked and insulted. When the Bible itself says that a fool's provocation who can bear, or something to this effect. You see, it is the masses of people who aren't yelling for the right reason that are in an undesirable mental state, a pitiful mental state. And they should be very ashamed of themselves for not being persecuted for righteousness' sake. It's not enough to be persecuted. You have to be persecuted for not cheating me out of my right to lead and being in the divine order and obeying God through me, or you're just a worm. What are your counter-arguments? There are no viable counter-arguments. How do I know? Because I've been saying these things for years, because I've done the math, because I'm smarter than everyone else. Thank you.